All right, ladies and gentlemen, the calendar on the wall says that this is Monday's episode of Student of the Gun Radio. What are we talking about today? Thank you very much for asking. The new Neighborhood Watch. What is that all about? We have a Warrior of the Week question, but it's a question that may surprise you. And we're also going to introduce you, the Student of the Gun public audience, to a brand new piece of music. If you're a grad program member, you heard it on Friday, but if you're not, this is going to be brand new to you. So all that and more after Zach plays the intro music.
Talk now.
All right, I can talk now. Thank you very much for giving me permission to talk. Zach, it says in the show notes that you have a story to tell. You have a story to tell the audience at large, the public audience?
Yes, I might. In just 1 second. Can you guys hear them now? Discord was having a problem hearing you guys. I just wanted to go ahead and fix that real quick.
Okay.
And I guess we'll get an answer in just a moment.
Okay.
So
can you what is your story,
something
Zach?
Real quick while I'm trying to get an answer to this, because I might have to continue fixing it.
All right.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Everything breaking is my favorite thing. Still just me. All right. You guys take over for a minute.
All right. Well, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
All right. So what we've got, Zach wanted to let you guys know that the Legion of Michael autograph books are now on sale. They are for sale at shopsotg.com. If you go there to shopsotg.com, you can get yourself a signed copy. That's right. I know a lot of you guys you're creating a collection of signed copies of books from Paul Markel so that when he kicks off, you can sell them on eBay for twice what they're worth. But the truth of the matter is, if you go to our official store, if you go there, that's the picture is a weird picture, but how come the picture's or is he busy?
We got the audio fixed.
All right.
What's the weird
picture of the book on the store is the full cover. It's kind of confusing. It looks like because it's a rectangle. You know what I mean?
Not, there should be a square one that's the primary.
Well, there's a square one that's primary, but that's not really a book cover. That's just whatever.
Well, I mean,
but the long story
they
short
all need to be
is,
squares.
If you go to shopsotg.com, you can get a signed copy of the Legion of Michael Defending the Flock book. All about church security. It's a comprehensive manual for protecting houses of worship. That is what Zach wanted to let you guys know. All right, Zach, do you have a story for us now?
Yes, I do. It's just a funny little thing that happened to me the other day. So, unfortunately, I had to deal with some adult stuff, being that my electricity bill was messed up. Basically, apparently my apartment complex has been paying my bill, and I didn't realize it because when I moved in there, they didn't set up my account properly. But the point, and that's not, we got it all sorted out. But the big thing is, so I had to call Rocky Mountain Power and be like, hey guys, so what the heck? What's wrong? And they were like, okay, yeah, we'll help you out. They hooked up my account, looked it all up, and they said, so just to check, well, because they had to make some changes to my account. They said, just to check, are you still working for this Student of Lagoon company?
Student of Lagoon.
And I was just like, yep, Student of Lagoon. I was just like, yes, I do. I guess when I told them originally, she misheard me, and she's like, whatever.
You just typed Student of Lagoon.
Yep. So, yeah, I work for Student of Lagoon. Everyone's primary source of boating information.
I was going to say, what does Student of Lagoon teach?
About boats and boat safety.
I know what a lagoon is. It's a body of water. It's a small body of water. So that's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, I just thought everyone might get a kick out of that.
That's pretty funny.
The Maymays are being generated right now.
Student of
Maymay.
Lagoon.
All right. All right.
Those
So
of you that are interested, if you've already got the Legion of Michael book from Amazon, or you've already ordered one from Shop SOTG, and you're interested in taking the online training, then go to legionofmichael.com. And you can enroll there. Enrollment is running until the end of August, and on September 1st, it will be closed.
all right. So you can enroll right now. Right now, at this moment in time. Well, hang on. It says, do I have cookies enabled or something? Because I just went there and it said
It's available.
Okay, rock on. All right, what are we moving on to next? We've got a SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week, but this is, well, I'll tell you once Zach plays the music. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm looking forward to exceeding that press PR right there. My heavy workout PR, Zach or Jared, well, I mean both of you, but is only I'm only 15 pounds away. So my heavy workout set is now only 15 pounds from my 1 rep PR.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So, but your 1 rep PR is higher than your previous one.
Well, I haven't done a 1 rep PR since that video was taken. Right,
what was the 1 rep PR that you had talked about, that you and I talked about, that you had reached higher than your, or maybe it was a working set that you got up higher? It was a working
set.
Oh, pre-cancer.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I've actually exceeded my previous, my pre-cancer working set.
Good job.
Yeah. So I'm stronger today, at least in one area, than I was before I had to deal with L cancer. So there you go. Also, this is a good time to bring this up. Anyway, if you guys would like to be strong or stronger, or you finally realize you got to that point in your life, you're like, okay, I'm not 18 anymore. I can't just do anything I want. I need to actually work on it. Where can they go, Jared?
Go to Barbell Logic. Yep. And if you do decide to sign up, use the promo code SOTG. You'll get some money off there.
Yeah, you absolutely want to do that. So and we're going to drop a thing in the show notes for you guys, so make it easy for you. But if you go to Barbell Logic and you shop around, basically there's a frequently asked questions, and then there's some articles you can read, and there's some free resources and so forth. And you decide, all right, you convinced me, Paul, it's time. Well, then use the promo code SOTG. You do that, you're going to save money, you're going to be stronger, you're going to be a happy camper, all that good stuff. So, all right, what are we going to talk about today? Today, rather than do a call-in question, I'm going to go ahead and remind you guys about this little thing called the Gray Man. I wrote an article, actually, it was published on January 14th, 2020, called The Gray Man and Losing the War for Liberty. Now, I understand that it takes a while for things to take hold, especially in our community. I've been paying attention to the gun culture for basically my entire adult life. I would say I started going to grocery stores and bookstores and so forth and buying magazines when I was probably 15 or 16 or whatever. I started buying Guns and Ammo and SWAT magazine and all that jazz. I started immersing myself in the gun culture way long before I could actually go into a gun store and buy anything for myself. So I've been paying attention that long. And what I discovered as I grew in the gun culture community was that things that are said and regurgitated just keep getting said. And, everyone's, especially when I started taking training, and I would take training and I would realize that some of this nonsense that was said in gun shops or at gun shows, and because this is way before the internet, or even repeated in articles, wasn't necessarily good advice. but it sounded like it on the surface. To people who didn't deeply examine, Jared, this goes all the way back to what is the primary purpose of online great books? What would you say, like the primary,
to help people learn to think for themselves?
Yes. To engage in the analytical thought process, to not just accept what cliches, not just accept cliches or whatever, but actually to engage in the analytical thought process yourself. And I discovered that there's a lot of stuff, I mean, I suppose it's everywhere in every culture, but there's a lot in our culture that just gets repeated over and over and over and over and over and over again. And nobody ever questions it, because it's kind of like it becomes this weird dogma where, well, yeah, I mean, what's wrong with that? Well, what's wrong with that is you need to think about it a little bit. Just recently, in one of our friend groups, and I belong to not a lot, but a few of these groups of supposedly like-minded individuals, and it's the R group, right? The R man group. So they put a post up in the R man group, and they essentially copied and pasted a notification from some police department or sheriff's department or something, and it was the back of a car with stickers on it. And the warning from the sheriff's department or the police department, from the law enforcement agency, is beware of putting stickers on your cars, because this is what it says about you, right? And you're like, oh yeah, of course, it was gun stickers, and the sheriff's warning you against putting pro-gun, gun company. Don't put Ruger or Remington or the Bone Collector or whatever. Don't put any of that stuff on your car, because that tells a thief that you're an outdoor shooting type person, and that makes them want to break into your car. All right, first of all right, that is not good thinking. But they went way beyond that. It was the baby on board thing. Don't put a baby on board sticker. Don't put a picture of a silhouette of your daughter, the little ballerina because she's in dance class. Don't do anything. Because essentially it was, if you put any sticker on your car, you're a target for thieves and kidnappers and all this stuff, right? And of course, as expected, the people who commented on the post just sycophantically were like, yeah, that's right, and yeah, that's right, and I've been saying that for years. I've been saying never to do that, and this is spot on, and you guys need to take a lesson from this, yada yada yada. And somebody said, oh, years ago, I learned to be the gray man. Okay, all right. I wrote an article called "The Gray Man Losing the War for Liberty." All right, boys, in the wild, who would you say, or what animal is famous for blending in and hiding and camouflaging itself?
A chameleon.
A chameleon, right? I know that there are certain moths that will land on a tree and they just disappear.
Did you know that hedgehogs, they puke on themselves to try to blend in?
Or
I didn't know that.
I did know that, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, I didn't know that
like
until Zach showed me a video.
Or because they like the smell. I've heard both.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, a hedgehog will eat grass and then vomit on itself on purpose.
So I could be
so disgusting.
Full of poo-poo caca.
Yeah. So
honestly, yours probably sounds more realistic, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's to mask themselves or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, all right, so who's the king of the jungle?
The lion.
No, it's the chameleon.
Oh. Yeah, you're right.
You're like, no, it's not.
You're right, because it hides itself.
The chameleon's not the king of the jungle. What? Well, the sports team for Lakewood High School is the Lakewood High School Chameleons. You've heard of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, no, that would be stupid, because nobody wants to emulate a chameleon. No one wants to, so up until this political correct situation, but when you have a mascot for a sports team, what is the mascot supposed to represent?
Something fierce.
Yeah, something bold and fierce and strong and so forth. Nobody wants to name their high school sports team the Hillsdale Chameleons. No, they're like the Eagles or the Tigers or the Lions or the Charging Rams or whatever, right? And why do we do that? Because we want to emulate that. We want to emulate that strength, that boldness, and so forth. You see the eagle. When you, like out here, for instance, we have many, many bald eagles.
Yeah, I know.
Your mother and I saw one the other day. We were going down Highway 230, and we saw a car that was pulled over, like to the entrance of a BLM land, and we're like, oh, I bet they're taking pictures. So we looked, and above the car, probably 100, 200 yards, was a massive, huge, fully grown adult bald eagle. And when you see that, I mean, unless you are super jaded, I would say most people, when they see that, it's pretty inspiring, right? I mean, it's awesome. It is awe-inspiring when you see a fully grown adult bald eagle flying. You're like, wow, that's why. I mean, I'm sure that's why we decided, because you see that flying, you're like, that is awe-inspiring.
And that's actually when Kevin was up there, and him and I went out into the field. He had never seen an eagle before, and we actually came up, and there were 3 or 4 of them just flying pretty low right there on one of the BLM land spots. And I was like, man, those things are just majestic.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've been out in almost the same place and had them fly right over my head, 100 feet away from me.
Yeah.
And you're like, 100 feet's far away. Now, 100 feet's far for a sparrow. 100 feet with an eagle is close. When you can look up and you can see the color of their feet and talons and so forth, it's inspiring. You say, what does that have to do with being the gray man, Paul? How many people in the history of the United States of America have been inspired by the gray man? You're like, I don't even know who the gray man is. That's right. You don't know who the gray man is. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't solve a problem by hiding from the problem. The gray man is a temporary defensive strategy. Being the gray man is not an overall strategy for defeating evil in your world. If you are so afraid where you live that there are monsters, that there are thieves, that there are vermin, that there are felons, they're going to look at the back of your car and see a sticker, and you use that information to determine whether or not they want to break into your home or your vehicle or kidnap your child or whatever. The problem is not the sticker.
Yeah, you've already lost.
The problem isn't the sticker. The problem is that you've allowed these vermin to grow and be comfortable in your community. You've allowed these thugs and monsters and kidnappers to grow and live amongst you. See, in most societies in the world, in the history of the world, up until this modern political correctness that we're dealing with right now, yet you're like, well, there's always been bad people in communities. Yes, there have. And as a community, when that bad person skylighted themselves, when they were captured or caught, when you found out that that person was a rapist, a thief, or whatever, you didn't just say, well, society failed you. And we apologize, Mr. Rapist, Mr. Child Murderer. We must have failed you in some way. What did we do to fail this person? No. Up until our modern era, and I'm talking about, like, forget the history of the United States. Go back to the history of every country in the world. When you discovered that there was a monster living amongst you, the community didn't look internally and say, we must have done something to fail this person. There's only one reason that they'd be acting out like that is because we failed them. No, You found out you had a thief, a rapist, a monster in your midst, and they either excommunicated them, if they were lucky, or they hung them. That was it. But now we live in an era where, no, it's society. We've been convinced that the reason that there are criminals in our midst is because, well, we've done something wrong. And so the solution isn't, well, let's rid our communities of these vermin. No, the solution is, let's hide from them. Ladies and gentlemen, hiding from your problems does not make your problems go away. Maybe if you were by yourself, and in the article, and the link to the article's in there, maybe if you found yourself a pilot shot down behind enemy lines, you would need to use the gray man. But you were a soldier and you got lost from your unit. You were separated from your unit. You need to rejoin your unit. The best way to do that is to camouflage yourself, to be the gray man, to blend in as well as you can until you rejoin your unit. But when you rejoin your unit, you don't stay the gray man. You put your uniform back on, you go back to work fighting. But what we've done in the United States of America as the Second Amendment culture, or the pro-Constitution culture, or what do you want to call it, is we've accepted this gray men mentality. And so while you are hiding, and I pointed this out in the article, so while you're being the gray man, while you're being the reasonable person, while you're being super cautious not to talk about guns in public or on your social media, you're being super cautious not to put stickers on your car. While you're doing that, California, New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, Washington, Oregon, Maryland, Illinois. Do I need to go on? What your rulers in those states are doing is they're like, oh, you want to be quiet and hide? Good, because we're going to take away your rights and we're going to destroy them. You live in a major metropolitan area like Seattle or Portland or Minneapolis, and you, as the good person, have been quiet and you haven't made any waves, and you're just, I'm just going to be over here. I'm going to get back. What is that? What has the gray man mentality done to save you? In Chicago, they just had another set of riots in Chicago. I mean, it's so often, it happens so often now that people don't even talk about it. They're like, oh, well, yeah. It's become the new norm. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in my audience, like if you're not in my audience, you're not listening right now. But if you're going to be in my audience, you need to engage in this thing called analytical thinking. And this wrapping yourself up in cliches and just regurgitating the same stupid advice that's been told over and over and over and over again. Jared, you know where a lot of that gray man nonsense came from?
I actually don't know.
Well, besides we could go from the Sears School, hiding behind enemy lines, survive, escape, evade, and all that. But the other advice was, we mentioned it about a week or so ago, was New York in the 70s. New York in the 70s, when crime was so bad that self-defense experts and law enforcement started giving out these lists of things not to do. Don't wear jewelry in public. Don't fight back. Be prepared to blah, blah, blah. Basically the same thing is going on in Minneapolis right now. And that was, and of course, Ayub's guilty of it. I remember reading articles from Ayub way back when, and it wasn't just him. There was others.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's actually, the gray man thing is something that Farnham still talks about in his classes. But I think that there's different levels of this gray man thing that we talk about. And there are benefits to being a gray man in a scenario where you have to actually defend yourself with a firearm, or essentially get out of the situation.
Right.
So being a gray man could allow you to leave this situation. However, in the overall overview of this thing, and this is where I don't want people to take us the wrong way and say, oh, you said that being a gray man's a bad idea, so I'm going to go out in public and be an asshole. I'm sorry, Zach.
Yeah.
Sorry, Zach. But anyway, the overall like thought process of this is if we just hide ourselves, eventually the gun carriers or guns in general, liberty thinking is going to be, it's hidden from other people, so it's not going to be the mainstream normal, which it doesn't seem to be. But and we can look at big cities and say, well, the reason this is happening is because people have to work so hard to support their families that it's difficult for them to have time to do all these other things and organize their neighborhood and all this other stuff. And while that, I believe that to be true, it's just these people that are actually producers are so busy producing because it's difficult now, more difficult now than it has been in the past to support a family. But the people that are the bad people that are going to look at the stickers or whatever and break into your car, they don't have jobs. That is their job. So they're not too busy to do what they're going to do. Right. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we have to look on our side of this thing. We have to look and say, well, I mean, is everything that I'm doing really necessary to supporting my family? And is what I'm doing now going to support my family in the long run? Or is it just a short term, like, hey, I'm going to pay the bills this month, and then next month it's the same thing?
Well, there's actually so many angles we could go down the gray man thing. Like, for instance, the shoot me first, whatever, right? I
don't know what that is.
Oh, dude, I've been seeing this in print for years. This pseudo wisdom. I'll call it pseudo wisdom.
Shoot me first.
Me first. The shoot me first vest, right? You should never wear a photographer's vest because that marks you as a concealed carrier. And so people started calling it the shoot me first vest, right? Or the fanny packs. Like, you should never wear a fanny pack because if you wear a fanny pack, that marks you as a gun carrier. And if you're ever in a restaurant or a bank or a whatever, that marks you as the shoot me first. Or, then we went down the road of you shouldn't wear a polo shirt that says Remington on it or a Mossberg polo or whatever, anything. You shouldn't wear any kind of 2A Liberty, no step on snake, none of that. You shouldn't wear any of that, snake. Because that marks you as shoot me first. And my statement was, okay, are you carrying a gun? Are you not? Well, yeah, I am. Then if you're in a restaurant and 2 or 3 a-holes or just one a-hole or whatever come in and they start brandishing guns and so forth, and if they're involved in just robbing the place, they're just going to rob the place and then leave, right? But, and this is the big but, and we like big butts, and I'm about to tell you why. If they say, okay, we got all the cash, now we're going to go to the customers and we're going to individually rob them. And you say, well, that's why I never wear a photographer's vest because it says shoot me first. Hey, TikTok, why are you carrying a gun? Well, what do you mean? Why are you carrying a gun? If you're afraid that they're going to single you out, you should have already killed them. They should already be room temperature. What is the point of that gun? Is it some kind of magic talisman that you're carrying to put a cone of protection around you? Yeah. I never wear a blank. And this is the pseudo wisdom that you hear at gun shops and on stupid internet forums. Well, I'd never wear that because that would mark me as a gun carrier. And if you were ever in a robbery, and then they would see you. First of all, do you think they're that observant or that smart? You think when a robber walks in, right, some cracked up a-hole runs into a family style restaurant and sticks a gun in the face of the manager to get all the money? Do you think they're thinking, well, before I do this, I better look at everyone's t-shirt, and I better closely read what the t-shirt says, because that guy over in booth 4, I think his t-shirt says Ruger on it. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to get a better look. That guy over in booth 8, it looks like he's wearing a khaki photographer vest. And as a professional crackhead, I know that everyone who's wearing a khaki photographer's vest is a gun carrier. So before I commit my robbery, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to shoot that guy. I'm going to murder him. What? But people say stuff like that. They're like, yeah, you better never do that because that'll mark you. You better be the gray man. You don't ever wear that. It's like, imbecile. I want you to, and here's what nobody ever does, Jared. Nobody ever raises their hand and says, hi, Paul Markle here with Student of the Gun. Can you cite one single example, not Hollywood, not movies, one single real life example where a robber killed someone because they were wearing a fanny pack? Not they were wearing a fanny pack and they got shot, but the robber said, ha, I see you're wearing a fanny pack. That means you're a gun carrier. I'm going to go ahead and murder you and then continue with my robbery. One single case. Well, no, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Then don't leave your house. If you're one of those, it's better to be safe, don't leave your house. My point is, the gray man mentality is not helping America. Hiding is not fixing our problems. And if you live in a community or a neighborhood where you are so terrified that you believe that if you put a sticker of your daughter, like if she's in dance class and they gave you one of these little ballerina finals or something, well, if I put that on there, then my daughter will be subject to kidnapping. You've got a bigger problem than stickers, Jack. You've got to, if you genuinely feel like there are monsters and kidnappers and child rapists all around you, and putting the sticker on your car is going to be the trigger that sends it, you've got a way bigger problem. And not putting stickers on your car that's not what's going to solve your problem. That's not going to fix the problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to be in my audience, you need to engage in a little bit of analytical thought and stop regurgitating the same stupid crap that people just say over and over again. You're like, yeah, that sounds like reasonable to me. No, it's not reasonable. You're just not thinking. Jared?
I will say that the majority, so right now, at least in my 12 years of actually paying attention to this industry, is I noticed that now more than ever people wear more Liberty shirts, more gun related shirts than I've ever seen in my life. And it might just be because I'm here in Utah now and that's just always been the case. I don't know. But I've noticed a substantial increase over the years. And so people are less worried about, hiding hiding their hobby, because that's what guns are for most people, is a hobby. Right. Now, Liberty should never be a hobby for anybody. That should be the main thing. It should be a job, a dedicated job that you're actually dedicated to protecting liberty, because without liberty, you can't have the hobby of guns.
Right. Exactly. If you're going to be an animal, don't be a chameleon, be a honey badger, or be a porcupine.
Why not
be a hedgehog?
You can be a hedgehog if you want. I'd rather be like one of these 50-pound porcupines that have 12-inch quills on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, speaking of people that are dedicated, I want to take a moment to thank the people that are contributing to the Student of the Gun public group. And you can join that on Facebook if you're a Facebook person. If you're not, you can go to the Student Lounge and join the Student of the Gun public group there. If you need to know how to find the Student Lounge, go to studentofthegun.com, click the login button, and follow the directions from there. You can create a free account. It does not cost money to get into the Student of the Gun public group in the Student Lounge.
There you go.
The top 10 today. Hey, Arturo's number 10. He's moving up. Number 9 is Steve Pergantis. 8 is John Smith. 7 is Melissa Ridings, and she's got that picture that she took from Wyoming as her profile picture now. Good on you. Number 6 is Derek Babcock. 5 is Jeremiah Mason. 4 is Bernie Gallenstein. 3 is Daniel Larson. 2 is Haywood Jabloni. And number 1 is Trent Wood. Thank you guys. Man, I'm looking at Trent's stats, and it's going to take some effort
to knock him off.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the moderators, thank you guys for doing what you do to keep this stuff. Anybody can post hundreds and hundreds of comments and posts, but it's the moderators that make it so that it's not spam.
It's not out of hand. That's right. All right. Hey, Zach, are you ready to play the new music?
Yeah.
We're
going to do that first.
I'm going to set this up. Michael Cates is a musician and a producer. He's a professional musician and professional producer. And what he has done is he's the one who created the music Enter the Pimp Hand, as you probably have heard already. And he sent us a new song, but he didn't title it. He just sent it to us as music. Well, on Friday, we gave it if you didn't listen to the show on Friday or Saturday or Thursday was actually the Pajama Party theme. And then we talked more about it on Friday. So we've decided that this is going to be called the Pajama Party song. And, and if you don't know what that's all about, you should go back and listen on Thursday or Friday. And if you can't, well, I don't know what to tell you. You're like, I can't. I'm not allowed because I'm not a member of the grad program. Well, see what you're missing out. But what we're going to do for you guys right now is Zach is going to go ahead and put the needle on the record, and he's going to play the new music. This is called Pajama Party by Michael Cates. So listen up, freaks. Hey, boys. I said a great idea.
Uh-oh.
Yep, I just did. Zach, you know how on your phone and your playlist you have several of the walk down songs for your favorite wrestlers?
I do.
And those are part of your playlist, and you will
Yes.
plug those into your car, and you will listen, and you listen to the whole song beginning to end, right? And a lot of them don't have some of them are just instrumentals, right?
Yeah, a good number of them are just instrumentals.
A good number of them are just instrumentals without lyrics. So, and since we have 100% rights to distribute, to play all of these songs, wouldn't it be a neat idea for the grad program, as part of the grad program, to make the songs available as a download so people can put them on their phones? Nobody uses iPods anymore, do they?
They don't make them anymore, and I'm not.
They don't make them anymore. Everybody just puts the music on their phone on their playlist, right? So if you're a grad program member, wouldn't it be cool if you could drop into your playlist the Enter the Pimp Hand and the Pajama Party song? I think that'd be pretty cool. You tell me. What do you think?
That might be neat, yeah.
I think that'd be another cool bonus for people who are in the grad program, because both of them are 4 or 5 minutes long, something like that.
Yeah. And
usually we don't play the entire thing. We just play like a little sample of it. So yeah, let's work on doing that. Let's work on doing that. I think that's a good idea. Be another bonus. And so a lot of you guys out there, you're like, what are you talking about, pajama party, Paul? No, well, the Springfield, Illinois school district has issued an edict, a mandate from the mountain. In case you guys didn't see this, that even though children may be engaging in distance learning, if they're enrolled with the Springfield, Illinois school district, that they must adhere to the school district's dress code even when they're at home distance learning. Even if they're on a Zoom school call, they're not allowed to wear pajamas or pajama pants or what do we know? Or shoes with wheels on them, or any type of clothing that the school has deemed objectionable. And we decided, you know what? You want to play that? We're going to go ahead and host a live streaming pajama party. That's what we're going to do in honor of, but we haven't picked a date yet. What do you guys think? When would be a good day? I mean, I'm assuming in the evening would be a good day or would be a good time. And we haven't picked a date yet, but we're going to do that. We're going to do that. And so that was, that song inspired us. And it's from Michael Cates. He's one of our grad program members, and he's a professional musician and music producer. So thank you. Duracoat, why? Why should someone Duracoat anything?
Because they like that thing.
That's true. They like that thing, and they want that thing to stick around for a while. But also because life is too short to have an ugly gun. So there's that.
Indeed, do.
Indeed. So if you have not been to Duracoat Firearm Finishes lately, you should go there because they've updated their website recently. Yes, they have. They've updated their site. They've got Dura Blue, Dura Park. That's parkerizing. They have Durachrome, Dura Gold. They've got camouflage patterns. They've got all kinds of stuff. You don't even have any idea. You don't even know. What you want to do is just pop over to DuracoatFirearmFinishes.com, and you're going to be excited to see. That way you won't have an ugly gun. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. Crossbreed Holsters, the makers of the Super Tuck Deluxe, the Reckoning, and now the Chest Rig, the official chest holster from Crossbreed Holsters. It's a good piece of kit. And if you go there, use the promo code SOTG18, that is SOTG18, and save yourself some moolah. Some money. And of course, our good friends at Brownells. Brownells, they give you everything you need to go in, on, or around a gun, and they even sell actual guns. Now, you say, but I went there and a lot of stuff was out of stock. Yeah, guess what? Welcome to the modern world. It's not just Brownells. It's everywhere. Yeager said the other day, he said he was in a gun shop, and the guy said, He goes, you're 4 months late being picky about the price, caliber, and configuration.
Yeah.
The time to be picky about what you want was, like you said, 4 or 5 months ago. Now it's you get whatever's there, and if you don't, well, then it just sucks to be you. Come back later. Good luck. Brownells, all you 300 blackout freaks, they've got the BRN. The Burn 180 Gen 2s are now available in 300 blackout. So if that's something that you are into, you got to have one. You're like, oh, man, I would really like that, but when's it going to come in blackout? All right. They heard you. They listened to you. They did. So you can go to brownells.com and check that out. All right.
Hey, Dad, when you were talking about it's 4 months too late to be picky,
mm-hmm.
It just reminded me that we're actually doing a giveaway in full30giveaway.com. If you want 500 rounds of 9mm ammo, go join that giveaway, and you've got a chance to win 500 rounds of 9mm ammo.
What? It's
Yes.
like winning gold.
Yep. And there's other stuff there, too. There's actually crossbreeds involved, and we've got a Shadow Systems pistol that's involved. We've got Night Vision is giving away a pair of accurate sights. No, you can't because it's a shadow.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Yeah.
Is it gray?
It's a gray man. It's a gray pistol.
But it's full30giveaway.com, and the link is in the show notes. It's in the show notes. All right, Zach, go ahead and tell everybody what they need to hear, and then we'll move on and wrap it.
Attention new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips that could save your life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong. But you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Yes, indeed. Go to studentofthegun.com and find everything SOTG. And we've had, several discussions lately. One of them I just had with Jared, and I'm seeing things popping up on the interwebs now that people are finally, I'm over here, I'm like, hallelujah. Hallelujah. People are finally extracting their craniums from their rectums and saying things like, I should know who my neighbors are. And my neighbors and I should organize and get together to make sure that we're able to keep our neighborhood safe. What a crazy concept. That's crazy. But good job to everybody who's doing that. Jared, recently you shared a story with me about talking to a neighbor.
Yes.
Would you like to share that with the audience?
Yeah, actually, I had a neighbor. We just moved to a new neighborhood, and I've had a couple neighbors that I've met that have come over and said hello and welcomed me to the neighborhood. One in particular said, hey, I think that they may get a little rough in the future. And I said, I'm your guy. No, but we had a good conversation, and it was just nice to know that I'm in a neighborhood now that is interested in pooling a community together and being ready to help each other. If I go on a trip, then somebody can watch my house. If they go on a trip, then I can watch their house. And then in the instance of a natural disaster or riots or anything like that we've talked about in the Patriot Fire Team before, then we've got a community that is they already know each other. They already have a quote unquote plan, and they're willing to help. And so it's great to be in a neighborhood like that. And if you're not in a neighborhood like that, or you don't know if you are, I highly recommend that you go knock on your neighbor's door and say, hey, this is what I want to do. Most communities, they've got, I think we're probably going to get into this of how to form, but most communities will have, neighborhood barbecues or whatever. And so that's a great place to go and identify people that are like-minded and go from there.
Yep. I just saw a post, somebody that follows Student of the Gun put up one of those things. It's like, would you work with your neighbors, would you organize with your neighbors to keep your community safe or whatever? Would you be willing to? Yeah. Hello. This is me. Hi, this is me, Captain Obvious. And I've been hanging out here for years and years. But I guess it takes a while for people to figure it out. Now, the one thing that I wouldn't do now, Jared, what did you say that your one neighbor did to have an excuse to ask you about to talk about keeping the neighborhood safe? He didn't just bang on your door with a threefold pamphlet and say, here, read this.
Oh no, he brought me some cookies.
Yeah. So
he put together, he got some Costco cookies, and with everything going on now, nobody knows how people are going to react. So he put the cookies on a plate and he labeled it and he said, here's some Costco cookies. And he set them in front of the door and kind of stood back just to be respectful, I guess. I said, no, come on in, man. We'll sit down and have a chat.
He might have the Rona and everyone might die now. The whole city might die because you didn't wear a mask. Yeah, that actually in the Patriot. Well, there's two things. I got the Patriot Fire Team and the manual here. And I talk about getting your families involved and so on and so forth. And then in the Patriot Fireteam Equipment Guide, let me say it's chapter 10 deals with the community. Something that must be kept in mind at all times is that the Patriot Fire Team must function as a part of the community. While that statement might seem obvious on the face, nonetheless, it must be said. Regardless of all the guns, gear, supplies, etc., that you might possess, your greatest strength in a disaster or a crisis is a strong community. Through the PFT members, it says the PFT members have volunteered to be watchdogs for their neighborhood, but they still need other members of the neighborhood and other community neighbors. So, but how do you approach this? And this is the thing that I think a lot of people struggle with. They're like, well, not everybody in my neighborhood is down with the sickness. Okay. They're not all down to clown. Some of them are, let's say you have that one neighbor that has the Biden or Bernie freaking sign in their yard. And they're like, okay, cool. You fully believe that the government in any kind of an emergency, the government is going to come save you. Okay. Gotcha. Rock on. I don't need you and we're not going to talk to you. Now, eventually, when we've been there, we've been in this position, the post-hurricane, we primarily dealt with hurricanes. We haven't dealt with tornadoes or earthquakes, but primarily you got a disaster. When the power goes out and the police aren't coming and Walmart's closed, all that, hey, the government's going to save us, kind of goes out the window. And it doesn't take long for the knucklehead with the Bernie or the Biden or the whatever sign in their yard to figure out, there's no one for me to call. No one's coming. And the only people I can rely on are my neighbors. Yeah. So don't worry about those people. Who you need to worry about, who you need to be concerned about, and I don't mean worry, I mean be concerned with or focus on, is the people who could potentially work with you as like-minded individuals. But unfortunately, we've been infected by this reasonableness disease. The reason that we called the Patriot Fire Team what we did, why we didn't call it a militia, is because for the last 50 years or so, the United States media has been painting the term militia as a pejorative. The Hollywood, the mainstream media, when they say militia, it's never a good thing. They're never like, this brave, fearless, bold militia came forward and helped all their neighbors in their community. No, it's always the fringe, right-wing, extremist militia. It's never a good thing. So we just toss that word out. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. And until we fix the country, we can't do that. Essentially, and this is what I came up with when I was working on the equipment guide, is like if people say, well, I don't know, what's this all about? Say, you know what a neighborhood watch program is yet, don't you? And they're like, well, yeah, I know what that is. Well, it's like a neighborhood watch, only it's effective. Only instead of whistles and radios, and they don't even use radio. I'm sure they don't. Back in the olden days, when I lived in Detroit and my dad was a volunteer with our neighborhood watch program, we didn't have cell phones. They had little portable radios. And the local police, district organized the neighborhood watch, and they would give you would sign it out, a little radio. So you could drive around and watch. That's what you did. I mean, that's what neighborhood watch was. You sat in a car or you walked around and you just looked. And if you saw anything, you got on your little portable radio and you said, Breaker 19, we got a bandit. Whatever. And the police are like, okay, we'll be there in a little while. Just chill out. Don't approach them. Don't do anything. Just hang back and we'll be there to fix it. And that's the problem with the neighborhood watch in a post-disaster situation. People are like, oh yeah, we have the neighborhood watch program. Well, what are your instructions? Well, we're supposed to be vigilant and pay attention and look around. And if we see anything, we call the police and they come and fix it. Except when there are riots going on in your city and looting and civil unrest, you can call all you want. Ain't nobody coming. But our pamphlet, the threefold brochure that we got from the National Neighborhood Watch Organization says, do these things and be a good witness and call the police and don't approach the criminal and all that, right? You're like, yeah, that's great. But all right, we just had a hurricane. Half the highways are closed. There's no power. There's looting going on in the shopping districts. And your community calls. First of all, if you can call 911, a lot of times the system's either overwhelmed or it's down. Nobody's coming. When I was working for Blackwater down in post-Katrina New Orleans, there was cell service. It was sporadic cell service, and that was nice. I mean, it worked sometimes it didn't, depending on where you were and so forth. But, you know, it was fun. But you could get on your cell phone and go 911, and no one's coming. I mean, they will eventually. At some point in the future, they will come. But if you're in a house and someone's smashing the door in, you know, when the cops arrive in 4 hours, that doesn't really help. So the Neighborhood Watch program, think of the Patriot Fire Team as a neighborhood watch that's actually effective, that could actually do something. You know, we have crisis, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I mean, look right now. Look at Minneapolis. Look at Seattle. The city councils and the mayors of those cities have literally said to the people, suck it, you're on your own. We'll send social workers out. You know, after you're the victim of a crime, after the criminals have victimized you, we'll put you in touch with a social worker. Doesn't that make you feel better? Yeah. After your home has been looted and your children and wife have been raped, we'll send social workers out to talk to you and help you work through your victimization. I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't really work for me. For me, no, homie, don't play that. That is why we came up with the Patriot Fire Team, and there you go. The books are available. A lot of you guys said, I want a signed copy of the new equipment guide, and they're coming. Oh, that's all I can tell you. Because of the Kung Flu pandemic, it's taking a lot longer to get things from the printers now than it used to. They're on their way. Probably in about a week or so from the time you hear this, they should be available. If you want one now, you can go to Amazon, what have you. Zach, do we have any actual Patriot Fire Team books in the store still?
We do have some, yes.
Original manuals?
Yes, we do have some on hand, yes.
Okay. So think of the Patriot Fire Team as the new neighborhood watch, or a neighborhood watch that can actually do something. A neighborhood watch that can actually keep your community and your neighborhood safe versus the state-approved version where you just look at stuff and call 911 and wait for someone else to save you. With the Patriot Fire Team, you're not waiting for someone else to save you. You're actually saving yourself. That is the main difference. And you also should be trained and skilled and working as a team. Remember, a team is not four dudes who happen to like guns. Like, you own a gun, I own a gun, we own guns, we're all own guns. Now we're a team. Boom. And the moment the crisis hits, we'll be able to function as an effective team because we all like guns. No, that's just four dudes who like guns. That's not a team. And we go in, and both the manual and the equipment guide, I go into great detail about what it takes to train a team, to organize a team, to get people working and functioning as a team. So if that's something you're into, I know many of you might not be out there and you're like, Paul, you're paranoid, and that's never going to be needed, and that will never happen. And I will rely on 911. And I say, if that is your bag, man, like Austin Powers would say, if that's your bag, rock on. But for the rest of you who'd actually like to be prepared to protect your community in the near future, we've got it. It's available. The information's out there. It's just up to you to access it. All right, that's all I've got to say today. Wednesday. On Wednesday, we're going to get into rifles. We're going to dive over into rifle country. and talk about the Ruger American Ranch Rifle. And you say, a ranch rifle? They've had those for decades. I know what that is. Nope, this is a different kind. All right, boys, this is your opportunity to say one more thing to the kids at home.
Thank you for joining live if you're listening live. And if you're not listening live, I don't know why. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. We've got the private Discord server that is available to our grad program members. So if you're a grad program member and you don't have it, then go to the student lounge or just email us and say, hey, I don't have access to the Discord server, and we'll get you taken care of. But sincerely, thank you all for listening. Even if you're not live, I still appreciate you.
There you go. All right, that and more. Remember, you're a beginner once,
student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.